So recently, I actually graduated from APU back in July. So our job is mainly to monitor what's happening during after office hours, in the sense that I got the feeling like, oh shoot, I'm not gonna get this job. Hi, my name is Shanuka. I'm from Sri Lanka. So recently, I actually graduated from APU back in July. So right now, currently, I'm working in Doha as a cybersecurity analyst. And also, I studied cybersecurity, so I managed to get a job in the same industry as well. So that's a little bit about me. Okay, so there's actually two sources. The first source was my seniors back in high school. So some of them, we were like family friends. So they recommended me to like, oh, Shanuka, why don't you go and check out APU, Asia Pacific University. So they were like, it's really good and the country is almost has a similar environment to Sri Lanka. So I decided to go and check the website first. And then I found on the website that they were having education fair within a couple of months. So I went for the education fair and then I got to know more about APU thanks to the counselors who were present there. And trust me, I made a really good decision that day. Yes, to my knowledge, as far as I know, it's very common. Like some students tend to study first in Malaysia, Canada, US, Australia, and Europe as well. So not many people would like to stay in the country because some of the universities, they have this huge competitiveness. So which is kind of difficult for some students who go to international schools in Sri Lanka. It's very hard for them to get into the universities in Sri Lanka. So that's why we tend to go outside of the country. Because the first thing is the financial restrictions as well. Because when I asked my seniors, they said, in terms of from the financial point of view, it's very affordable. And the second thing is the environment, very similar to Sri Lanka. The people are really nice, apparently. Even the food is very similar, but less spicy. So, and it's a tropical country. So you will see greenery everywhere you go in Malaysia. So that's what they told me. So that's the impression I got from them. That's the impression they gave me, so that I choose Malaysia. So from 2020 to 2021, it was first 2 weeks were really nice, but then COVID hit, so it was fully online. So I didn't get to do much. But starting of 2022, when the restrictions were being lifted, it was really nice. Actually, the campus opened up. I got to meet a lot of people from countries I've never even heard of. Like, who would have thought that like in the African continent, there's so many countries. I've only known like very few. There's like a bunch of them. And then I got to meet students from Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia in general. Like, wow, my mind was opened up. Like really, it was amazing, I would say. And also, I got to see another side of me, which I never thought I would see. Like me putting myself out there, talking to people, exploring. Like it was really cool. So my course, to be precise, is computer science, but computer science specialism in cybersecurity. So you could say, to summarize, I studied cybersecurity in general. So when talking about cybersecurity, it's mainly, people might say, it's about hacking into other people's Instagram accounts and so on and so forth. Well, actually, it's mostly about protecting yourself when you go into the internet. Like we use Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, maybe TikTok as well on a daily basis. And sometimes some of us tend to be influencers and post content on all these platforms. So we need to know how much information is going into the internet. So we need to limit that. That's cybersecurity is like. So our job is mainly to monitor what's happening during after office hours. So let's say, for instance, May is trying to access Facebook using her company laptop. We will get an alert. So because of the company policy, if you're using a company laptop, you're not allowed to access any social media on your company laptop. Yeah, it's like we monitor and we make reports and we tell your manager, like we tell them, look, this person is trying to do this. Please advise them not to do it. because we have policies in place so that we have a more stable business. So I've lived with my parents for almost 18 to 20 years. So living outside of the house was like the biggest challenge, like adapting to a completely new country you've never heard of in your life. Maybe a couple of months before joining APU, okay, I got to hear about Malaysia, did the research on it, but stepping into a new country with unknown territory is a bit risky as well. And at the same time, I couldn't cook that much. Like I'll have to depend, like usually for 20 years, I was depending on my mother to cook food for me. And then when I went outside of Sri Lanka to Malaysia, and when I was leading my independent life, first 3 months, it was a bit difficult to adapt because, I get the feeling that these emotions like, oh, I miss my family. I want to go back home. But I think somehow I managed to get through it. Somehow I was like, no, you know what? I came here to live the independent life that I need to, because I can't always live with my parents. So yeah, I would say that was adapting to a new country was the biggest challenge. And, when you're alone, you tend to, learn new things, because that's the start of your adult life, basically. What is the attraction of studying in Malaysia? To be very honest, I'll say it's because the country itself is very open to international people, and the people there are very nice. And also, if you go to especially APU itself, when I went there, when restrictions started lifting, when people started coming to campus, it became more alive. And then when there were people, that was like one of the reasons why I would say studying there is very good for your mental health as well, because you have a lot of people supporting you. You will of course meet different people from different backgrounds, but at the same time, it kind of helps you be a very open-minded person. So I hope this answers the question, hopefully. When I compare with Sri Lanka, right? So Malaysia, honestly speaking, the number one thing I like about it is the fact that all like country artists like Coldplay, Bruno Mars, all of them and One Republic, they tend to come to Malaysia to do concerts. Like Sri Lanka used to be like that before, but now because of political issues and stuff like that, they aren't very open to inviting artists from other countries. So when I saw like Coldplay in Malaysia last year, I was like, wow, this country is damn amazing. Like, and the amount of people that went for the concert the stadium was filled. Like, I would really want to go for a concert, honestly speaking, in Malaysia. Like, I did manage to go for Ed Sheeran. Yeah, luckily, but I would really definitely want to come back to Malaysia and honestly experience a concert in the Bukit Jalil Stadium. Like, that's one of the things I really love about it. They're very open. They have so much activities. Yeah, sometimes too much bugs, and also the weather, because it rains there's this time when it rains almost every day. Sometimes it gets really annoying. Like, okay, there are days it should rain, like maybe 2 times a week. It's okay if it rains, but sometimes it rains almost every day, and it tends to be so like, sometimes when I wanted to like go out with my friends and probably play basketball or volleyball, it starts raining and the court is flooded. We can't play. And then about APU is that we need to wear semi-formal or formal attire, especially, right? And since Malaysia tends to be a bit too humid at times, wearing formal wear, it's a pain, honestly speaking. Actually, there were 2. One was student ambassador. So to summarize, student ambassador, it's like we are in charge of welcoming new students to campus and telling them about campus. And also, we need to make sure, they're doing well, they are going to their class. It's more like we are like parenting them in a way. But it's also fun because you get to meet a lot of new people. You get to, from the first point where the students, when they land in Malaysia, student ambassadors are the first people they meet. So they will always remember them. The students will always remember the student ambassador who was there with them since day one, usually. Because I remember, because I was there when, I think when you were in your September intake tour, welcome tour for Sattam Intake in 2022. I was there when you were in the bus, and most other essays as well who are in your intake. Second thing, of course, music club, like that's like my go-to thing as well. But mostly I would say it's essay. Like I would say to any new student who completed their first semester, join student ambassador, because it actually helps you be a very open-minded person, interact with different people. It's like you're putting yourself out there and experiencing the world, I would say. So usually if I have free time or holiday, right, I would go explore cafes and different food options that are there, because trust me, Malaysia, especially in Kuala Lumpur, there's so many cafes that you've never even heard of. And that's one of the things I do in my free time. And then I tend to do like a bit of street photography, but not to a professional level. Like just as a hobby, I just do it. I take random pictures and then I edit them, and then I just post them on my IG. And that's one thing. And second, then the next thing is, of course, get together with a group of friends, go somewhere, eat, talk about life, maybe go to a park and just chill there. Like those simple activities, you know? Or maybe just rent a car and go for a night drive, playing probably like chill music. So yeah, those are like the few things I would say. Where do I eat? Oh, that's a very what is it called? Wide question, because I don't have a specific place in Malaysia that I would go and eat. But I would say mamak in general. Any mamak in Malaysia is good. Like mamak is like the local restaurants in Malaysia. So I would recommend you try their nasi goreng ayam and also roti tissue, really good. And there's one more thing called nasi goreng ayam, but pataya. So they covered the fried rice with the omelette. I think you should try that. That's really good too. Oh, for new students, right? Okay, I would suggest you save some money, go to different states like Penang, Melaka, because those places are a must to go. Any new student who comes to Malaysia, please, you have to visit those places. Also, if you can go a bit more, try to maybe visit Singapore for like 2 days and then come back. Try to go to the islands like Langkawi, Perhentian. Those are also recommended, because if you want to like chill in the beach, those islands are nice. And there are other activities like, you know, like go-karting, karaoke, those kind of things are always there. But like I would suggest visiting different states, knowing about the reason behind, okay, why is it like this? Why is it like that? I would recommend those. So actually I officially finished studying in February. So March, I came back to Sri Lanka, right? And then I started job hunting, but my job hunting period started since the same year as my final year. Like when my final year started last year, around September, actually around May. Yeah, around May when it started, I started job hunting immediately, like applying for different jobs, just to see if I can get it, I get it. If not, it's okay, we move on. So from last year until this year around July, I was applying. Again, some of them I got called for interviews. Some of them said, oh, we really don't think you have enough experience. So they just rejected from the email straight up. Some of them got me into an interview on Teams and Zoom, because most of the companies I applied were Malaysian, because I fell in love with the country. So I wanted to go back as well. So some Malaysian companies, when I got interviewed, they said, oh, you're nice, you're a really good candidate, but the problem is you're not local. That's like one of the biggest challenges. It was a bit difficult, but I was like, you know what, it's fine. Then luckily, I had applied to other countries too, like Qatar, for instance, Saudi, Kuwait, Middle East, Europe. So then I got an interview for my current job. I got an interview around end of May, I got called for an interview. I just went for it. It was a normal, casual, informal interview. So my boss, he's actually from Bosnia. So he just did like a normal interview. He just wanted to know what's my level of knowledge in cybersecurity and what kind of job I'm expecting, what kind of things I'm expecting. So I was very straightforward. I was like, sir, I just want to start off my career. I just want to start it off so that, at least I gain some experience and then I can move somewhere else. So at least I can show the other people who rejected me that, okay, you know what? I came back with experience, so now you have no choice but to give me the job. So he was really happy with the interview. And then I got called for a second interview, same company. And the second interview was a bit stressful because it was his manager, so my supervisor's big boss, and his second in command. So that was very stressful. And I thought, like, as soon as I entered, they were doing some work. They were like, oh, you can just sit down here and just take some time. We're just doing some work. As soon as they finished their work, the atmosphere changed to like a complete 180, in the sense that I got the feeling like, oh shoot, I'm not gonna get this job, from their face expressions, because I was answering everything. And then they ended up asking me this question like, oh, Shanuka, like, I understand you have your bachelor's, you recently graduated, and you did cybersecurity, which is all good. You have few certifications, which is all good, but why don't you have a master's? Like, he asked me, right? So I told him, like, sir, actually, I didn't pursue master's because I wanted to gain some work experience in the field for maybe one or 2 years, and then explore my options for master's later on. Because at the moment, I think I need to step outside of the student life into the adult life and experience what it's like to, work and see what kind of an environment it is. Because otherwise, I'm pretty sure it will be very difficult for me if I do my master's and then join the work life. Then it's going to be a bit difficult because I'd already be past the age, because I graduated at 24. So when I finish my master's, I'll be around 26. So it's a bit of, I won't say it's a waste. It's a good thing to do masters, but depends on the person end of the day. So for me, I wanted to gain experience and then do my masters, and then with experience and a master's, I can apply for a better position. So when I told him this, he was happy, but the interview was not good. So I went home. Of course, I thought, okay, you know what? It's fine. Maybe if I don't get this, it's okay. I'll try it again. Then I get a call within like 2 hours. The first person who interviewed me. Then he was like, Shan, it's okay. Whatever happened in the interview, it's fine. So now tell me your salary, and you're gonna start 1st of July. I was like, what? So yeah, that's how I got my first job, honestly speaking. And I would want to quit, but I don't want to quit because it's really, really, like, honestly speaking, it's at this time getting a job in Qatar, it's very lucky because Qatar is not that really accepting people these days because they're trying to cut down the labor force here. So
yes.
First thing is, I will say, make sure to do a bit of research on Malaysia before you come to the country. Like, also look into accommodation, because yes, living inside the university is good as well, but maybe for a couple of months and then you can move outside. Also, what are the food options that are available? I would recommend that. And what's the transportation like? Like, okay, can I use public transport? Can I rent a car? It's always good to know those information beforehand. Also, like, for instance, if you're a student trying to join APU, I would recommend following the student welcome page on Instagram, SRC, for events that are happening in APU, and Beyond Media, because usually the three of these Instagram pages are, sometimes they have recruitments for different events or to join the teams. So, you can put yourself out there, be that outgoing person, and also know about the campus life more.